In today's video, I talk about how you can build a 4 or 5 or even 6-figure business using just this and a little bit of cash. Cue the intro. Hi folks, welcome to the video. For those of you new to the channel, my name is Andrew. I'm a part-time eBay and Amazon reseller, which means I buy stuff and sell it on those platforms for a profit, and I'm also a mental health advocate. And in today's video, I thought I would discuss how in 2024, during a cost of living crisis, which is affecting all of us, you can start a business as a side hustle that could see you right through the cost of living crisis and give you a real foundation for earning a really decent income in the future. How? Keep watching to find out. So, bit of background for me, for those who are new. I sell, as I mentioned, on both Amazon and eBay. I also do a bit of share trading as well, all of which I do as side hustles around a full-time job. From eBay and Amazon, I make a 4-figure profit each and every month. From investing, it's only 3 figures, but that will change at some point in the future. So, I started off reselling on eBay, which means that I started buying stuff from places like car boot sales, charity shops, Facebook Marketplace, even off eBay itself, listing those items on eBay and selling them via mail order to people who wanted those particular products. I continue to do this. I think it is one of the best side hustles that you can do, particularly in 2024. I've been doing it for 6 years now, and during that time I've gone from running a business out of my bedroom to 1,000 square foot of storage. So hopefully I've got a bit of knowledge that I can impart. One of the things that I often think about is, what would I do to start up a business and a side hustle if I needed to do it now, given everything that I know? And I would absolutely start with doing an eBay business first before doing any of the other side hustles that I mentioned that I'm involved in. The advantage of that is you can literally do it with just a mobile phone. Ideally, you would have a printer and a laptop as well, but not always required these days in 2024, with the days of postage by QR code and such like, and being able to buy postage at the post office. There are options available. But ideally, you have a laptop and a printer and a mobile phone. Do you need a massive amount of cash to do it? No. That is why I think eBay is a really good business to start off with. What would I do if I was starting an eBay business, therefore, in 2024 and I didn't have much cash? Well, the first thing I would do is open up an eBay account. I would actually open it up. You've got 2 choices when you open up an eBay account. You can open one up as a private individual and one as a business. If you're buying to resell, you should have a business account. You just should. However, I would not start off with a business account. I would start off with an individual eBay account. Before anyone jumps in the comments about that, the reason why I would do that is very simple. It's purely because I would start off selling my own individual items from around the house to raise cash. So that might be clothing, it might be an old mobile phone that I don't use anymore, it might be something like some vitamin tablets that I bought that I never got round to using. I might have some Christmas gifts that I've been given that I don't really want, some birthday gifts that I don't really want. But all of us have items in our house that actually might not be of value to us any longer, but will likely be of value to other people. Well, games consoles, computer games that you don't play. There's plenty. I'm surrounded at the minute by stuff that I don't use. There's a tablet over there I haven't used for 2 years, but that's probably still worth 20 or 30 quid on eBay. So I would set up a private account to list those own personal items of mine, and I would do that so that I would get used to using eBay, how it works, sending out stuff to customers, dealing with any customer issues that arise, and also to raise much needed capital. Every item that I successfully ship to a customer, I would upload tracking details to on eBay. I would probably try to list stuff that, you know, I could put tracking on, so I would probably avoid stuff that was going large letter unless I was buying my postage through eBay, just because eBay likes to see tracking on items. But if you're going to send stuff that's going large letter, buy your postage on eBay, get a printer that you can print it off on, would be my advice. Yeah, so I would do that. I would list and sell items. I will do a separate video on product research and how to identify items to sell on eBay, how to look at sell-through rates and such like that. But let's turn over to eBay and show you how to work out how to list items for a value that's gonna, you know, you're not going to sell at a loss for, basically. So here I am on eBay. I have a Ralph Lauren plain blue polo shirt. I've just grabbed this off the laundry pile, but just as an example of something that you might have in your house. I want to sell this item on eBay, so the first thing I'm going to do is have a look to see whether these items are going for any money. So I'm going to type in Ralph Lauren polo shirt. Now it's used, so I'm going to filter here to look up used items. It's a size XL, so I'm going to click to filter on size XL. I can see there's a heck of a lot listed. There's 7,200. There's a lot of competition for Ralph Lauren polo shirts, but I need to sell it, list it, but how much for? So I will have a look down on eBay. Here on the side I can see a filter for sold items. I can see there's over 3,400 sold items here. What it does do is bring up stuff that's worldwide, so I'm just going to set my filter to UK only, and I can see there's one there gone for a tenner, there's one there gone for £18, £17, £18. So that's telling me that this item, I could list it for £17.99, including postage costs, and I could expect anything from £10 to £18 for it. On an eBay private account, if you're listing and selling your own items now of clothing, you don't have to pay any fees. So if I sold this item for £18 including shipping, theoretically the only cost I would have to pay is shipping the item. I think there might be a transaction fee of 36p as well. Shipping something like that with Royal Mail is going to cost you about £3.39 if you used a Track 24 service. So if I sold that for say £15, spent £4 on shipping and my transaction fee, that gives me £11 already into my pot, ready for when I want to start turning into a business. So it's a very simple, quick way of looking up stuff on eBay, seeing whether it's worth putting it on, whether you're going to make some money from it. As a private seller, I probably would start off with selling my own items of clothing that I no longer wanted because of that free fees offer. We're just going to switch back to me to talk more about what else I would do. So you've found some items that you want to sell around your house, you list them on eBay. I might do a separate video on how to create listings on eBay if people want that. If you do comment below. You've taken some pictures of it using your phone, which is why this is important. There's a whole host of different ways you can take pictures and list stuff. There are what known for clothing in particular. There's what known as flat lays, where you lay the item out flat, take pictures of the front, back of it, all the labels. There's hanger shots where you take a picture on a clothes hanger. Whatever you do is up to you, but personally, if I was just starting out, I would probably do flat lays. they just look that slight bit more professional. When you get to a stage of you've got hundreds of thousands of listings and your established business, you could probably switch to doing hanger shots. But starting out, just to get that best image, I would do flat lays, and I would also make use of eBay's background removal tool to remove the background so it looks like it's nice and flat on a white background. And that will help your listing just stand out a bit more above those other 7,200 Ralph Lauren polo shirt listings that were there. Other things you need to think about while you're going through this process of raising capital by selling your own stuff on eBay is where are you going to store stuff. You don't want to store your items with the things that you wear every day if you're doing clothing, because there's a risk you might wear that item of clothing and it get damaged, stained, etc., and it sells and you've got to cancel that, which is bad. Don't ever cancel orders. So the other thing I would sort out is storage. It may be just a chest of drawers that you put your items in. You may have space to put some shelves that you can put stuff on, and you can often get shelving free off Facebook Marketplace or for only a few pounds. So if you've made, say, £10 selling your Ralph Lauren shirt, you might be able to pick up some shelves on Facebook Marketplace for a tenner, which you can use to store stock in. I would also make a note of where that stock is. There's a field on eBay called custom SKU that you can do that. So if you put it on shelves or in drawers, you might call it shelf 1, drawer 1. If you put it in a box, it might be box 1. You put that in your SKU so you know where the item is. If you start doing that soon, straight away really, that will help you get into a habit of doing good inventory management and stop you losing stuff later on when it sells, which will get you just into that good habit. So yeah, the other thing that you need to think about as well is not just paying for postage, but what you're actually going to dispatch the items in. Something like a piece of clothing, a poly mailer is good, but not everyone has those lying around their houses. You can buy them on eBay. You're probably going to spend about 10, 11 quid buying a couple of hundred, a few hundred maybe poly bags. You might not have the money to do that. So what I would suggest is if you don't, just put some posts on local Facebook groups and on your own Facebook profile asking people if they've got any packaging material that they'd like to get rid of. You'll find lots of people who've got boxes, envelopes, poly bags that they don't need, that's taking up space that they just want to get rid of, and they'll give you that stuff for free. So that's a top tip to get free packaging as you start off. When you scale your business, I would probably just recommend buying stuff, because waiting on a supply of free materials to come isn't really great if you've got 50 orders to do and somebody says, I've only got 20 pieces of packaging I can give you, you're a bit short. But at the start, it's a good way of getting those free materials. Put them to one side, build up those piles, and that'll give you some stuff to ship your items in. So you've done that, you've started selling your items. You understand now how eBay works, how to post stuff, and you know the basics of starting to run an online business are now in your head. What do you do next? Well, the next thing is, if you are finding that it's working for you, you're enjoying the process, and you do want to scale and move into a business, there's a few things you need to do. First thing is to register with HMRC as a business entity. You've got three choices technically. If you're doing it on your own, you could go for a sole trader or a limited company. Most people will start off as a sole trader for eBay. There are arguments to start as a limited company. I'm not an expert in these things. It's not my role to give financial advice. So do research what is best for you. If you're doing eBay as, say, a couple, then you might also want to consider looking at a partnership, which is slightly different. Again, it's not for me to tell you what the advantages and disadvantages are, because they are of either approach, because they relate to your own personal circumstances. One thing I would say is if you're going down the limited company route, you also need to set that up through Companies House. But you can find details of how to do that on Google. Assuming that you've set up as a sole trader and gone down the route that most eBay sellers do, you need to apply for something called a UTR, a unique tax reference from HMRC, so you can register for self-assessment with them. Once you've got that UTR, or if you've gone down a limited company route, if you've got a company reference number, not sure how it works with partnerships, but either of those, you can get in touch with eBay and ask to switch your account, your private account that you've set up, over to a business account. I wouldn't necessarily start with a business account straight away unless you are purely only selling items for resale, because what you want to do is build up some feedback on your account, and eBay also imposes listing limits as well on new accounts. On a private account, those limits are a bit bit higher than they are on a business account. But if you start for a business account, you'll probably be able to list around 10 items a month with a max value of something like 250 quid, and that'll be the case for 2 or 3 months. If you started off on a private account, eBay tends to give you the opportunity to list stuff a lot quicker, and when you transfer your account over to a business account, because you're now ready to start your business, you will find that those listing limits that you've built up and that feedback that you've built up as well through successfully selling items will transfer across to your new business account, so you're not quite starting from scratch there. So that's why I suggest starting off going private, selling your own things, and then transitioning to a business. It can also take a bit of time to go through the process of registering as a business entity, both with eBay and with HMRC. So in the meantime, if you start off with a private account, you've managed to get those basics around eBay sorted while going down the routes of HMRC to get your, or whoever it may be, to get your business entity set up. When you've done that, by that stage, you've got your business account now on eBay. It's there ready to list stuff. I wouldn't continue listing your own personal items on it because you're now at the stage where HMRC are going to be eBay are going to be reporting to HMRC any earnings your business account makes, and it can be a bit busy, bit of a mess trying to separate personal from business stuff. So you might, if you've got any personal items that you've not sold, you might want to take those off eBay, off this business account that you set up, and list them on Vinted, for example, and sell those individually as a private seller on Vinted, while you're focusing on building your eBay business up. So you've done that, you've got your eBay business account set up, you're ready to go out sourcing. Before going out sourcing and looking for products, I would highly recommend spending a fair bit of time watching YouTube videos of other eBay resellers who have gone out to car boots, who have gone to charity shops, who have bought stuff off Vinted, maybe Facebook Marketplace, and have a look to see the kind of things that they're picking up and what they look out for when they're out and about sourcing for products, and try and make a list of those things to look out for. You may also want to think about what you're personally interested in, if you've got any hobbies or interests, and what kind of stuff you would buy to support that hobby or interest, because those are the items you're more likely to see out and about when you're sourcing, because you're naturally interested in them, so your eyes will naturally spot them, and you will also probably have some idea of how much those items cost, having bought them yourself. So that's another thing to think about as well. If you like reading books, for example, and you've got some particularly favourite authors, you might spend some time researching on eBay to see if those authors are popular, if they sell for good money, and then you might want to go to a charity shop and see if they've got any books written by those authors that you can resell on eBay. So a couple of ideas to get you started off with there. Then you want to go out sourcing. Now, there's a temptation when a new seller goes out sourcing to go crazy and buy anything and everything they see, and not spend time carefully. Excuse me, the dog's barking. Barty, come here, come on, come here. Right, there we go. I don't edit these videos, so it is pure unadulterated visual content. Shush. So yeah, there is a temptation when you go out sourcing to buy anything and everything you see. Don't do that, okay? Treat your first few sourcing trips as purely research. If you happen to buy anything, bonus, but don't put yourself under pressure to buy something. My first car boot I spent 50 quid on a load of rubbish that wasn't really worth anything at all, and I wasted my money. The eBay app gives you the great advantage of being able to research items. The same way that we looked sold items up on eBay on the desktop to see what the value of that Ralph Lauren shirt was, you could do that on your eBay app as well. So if you see something out and about at a car boot or a charity shop, put it in your hand. With your other hand, go on your eBay app and have a look to see if it's got any value and if it's selling second hand by looking at solds. If nothing comes up as solds, or if it comes up and it's not really worth anything, don't buy it. But now you will feel nerves about using your phone and looking up stuff. It will feel awkward. You'll feel like everyone's staring at you. But put it in your head that we live in the smartphone age now. Everybody is out on their phone doing stuff, and nobody has a clue what anyone else is doing on their phone. You could be texting your friend, you could be ringing your mum, you could be scrolling Facebook or Instagram, you could be distracted by anything that's on the phone. So nobody's going to instantly assume that you're looking up an item on eBay for its resale value. And even if they do assume that, what you've got to remember is that person there whose item it is you picked up, or that shop whose item it is you just picked up, they want to sell that item to you. So they're not really going to kick off massively if you decide you just want to do a bit of research on the item before making a purchase decision. I can't think of any times when I've been sourcing for 6 years where I've ever had an issue doing that at all. Occasionally I've had somebody asking me if I'm looking up an item on eBay, and I just say, yeah, I am, because I'm considering buying it to resell. And that's it. Simple as that. Just be honest. So yeah, don't rush out and buy stuff. Get comfortable with going to car boot sales. Watch what other people are buying there. Watch how they are negotiating at car boot sales as well, and learn from that. If you want to get stuck in and buy something, great, but don't feel that you need to go and spend all the money you've got on buying stuff, because I promise you, you will buy bad stuff that isn't going to make you money. You just will. So take time. Don't rush into a purchase decision. In your first few weeks of going out and sourcing, if you only pick up 10, 15 at a push 20 items, then that's great, especially if those are all items that are going to make you a profit, because you're just learning at this stage. You want to give it 2 or 3 months really of researching how to source and starting to source before you get to the point where you're feeling more confident and being able to pick up items. If you have picked up some items during this time as well, you'll learn how quickly those items sell or don't sell, and it'll give you a bit more insight into the kind of stuff you want to pick up. So you're gradually just building your knowledge and experience. Keep on watching those YouTube videos as well. Keep on looking to see what other people are doing and observe. You can usually spot resellers in charity shops and car boots. They're the ones who are buying loads of random items and usually looking up the stuff on their phones as well. So, watch them, watch what they're doing, watch to see what they're picking up. And the next time you go and they're not there, have a look to see if those kind of items are available, and have a look to see if they've got any value. So yeah, always watch what's going on around you. But yeah, 2-3 months to start getting into the sourcing properly. Start listing stuff and start getting it sold. By the 3-month stage, you should then be able to go to eBay to say, I've been trading on eBay for 3 months. Can you increase the amount of items I can list on my account and the amount of value? Because you will still have some restrictions in place. But once eBay starts seeing you selling stuff, they'll start upping it. What you'll also want to consider, because on a business account you will be paying insertion fees for every item you list. I think they're about 30p, 36p, I could be wrong. You might, depending upon how many items you've got listed and are listing each month, you might want to consider upgrading to a shop with eBay as well. But again, this is all stuff that you can research and look into and make those decisions. I started off my eBay with 250 quid. Of that 250 quid, I spent about 50 quid on a printer, which I got £40 cash back on. So that cost me 10 quid. I also invested some money in packaging supplies, about 20 or 30 quid. The rest of the money I spent on stock. The first 50 quid I spent was largely wasted. I recouped about £20 of it. But I learned from that. I learned to restrain myself and to, make better buying decisions. Within a year, that business was turning over £1,000 every month, and I hadn't invested any more money into it. At this point now, last month, I turned over roughly around £4,000. It might have been a bit lower on eBay alone. Of that, about just over £1,000 was pure profit. So if you think about that, that's practically a full-time wage earned from a part-time side hustle. If I was to scale that further and work even harder, I could make even more money. You too could do the same, but you've just got to have patience, learn the process, accept the fact that it will take some time to learn. Don't just dive straight in, and you will build a successful reselling business. And I promise you, once you're 6 months, a year in, you'll look back on it and be staggered at how much you've achieved and how much potential lies out there. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching the video. If you made it this far in the video, I do like to ask people to put a random comment down below of my choice, which in this case is kittens. So if you comment kittens below to let me know you've reached this far in the video, because that really helps encourage me to make more content, because I know people are actually watching it and not just turning off after the first few seconds. So thanks for watching, folks. Hopefully you found the video useful. See you again. Bye for now.